Hollywood, we're not mad. We're just disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Hey guys, it's Phoebe with WatchMojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most disappointing movies of the decade.
If you break something, anything, I can fix it.
Not anything.
We're taking a look at movies released between 2010 and 2019 that fell well below the expectations they set for themselves. Spoilers ahead. Let's get to it. Number 10, Prometheus. With Ridley Scott returning to the director's chair, fans were ready for Prometheus to breathe new life into the Alien franchise. This prequel admittedly wasn't without some stunning visuals, intriguing ideas, and compelling performances, particularly from Noomi Rapace and Michael Fassbender.
Must feel like your God abandoned you.
What?
To lose Dr. Holloway after your father died under such similar circumstances. What was it that killed him? Ebola.
Instead of delving deeper into this universe's mythology, though, the film just asked a ton of questions with few answers. Did we mention the co-creator of Lost co-wrote this? We're not saying that this movie needed to explain everything, but the mysteries laid out here aren't especially gripping. And in the end, we don't really care what it all meant.
Ask him where they're from.
What are you doing?
Ask him what's in his cargo. It killed his people.
Sure. Enough.
While not the franchise's darkest hour, Prometheus was nonetheless a snooze fest, and the last thing we should be in an Alien movie is bored. Number 9, Terminator Genisys. With Arnold back, Terminator Genisys seemed poised to reboot the franchise in epic fashion.
How can he be remembering two timelines?
It is possible if you were exposed to a nexus point in the time flow when you were in a quantum field.
Can you stop him talking like that? Is there a switch or something?
However, audiences grew skeptical once the first trailer dropped, revealing that this installment would retcon all previous films, including the good ones. Then again, maybe a fresh start was for the best after so many missteps.
It's being very respectful of the first two films.
With James Cameron even giving a ringing endorsement, Genisys was sure to deliver, right? Turns out that Salvation wasn't even close to rock bottom. Genisys left loyal fans feeling betrayed with PG-13 action, an over-reliance on nostalgia, and a plot that made no sense.
Hello, Sarah Connor.
Pops. I thought you were dead.
No, just upgraded.
The poor reception to Genisys derailed plans for a new trilogy set in this timeline, prompting Terminator Dark Fate to simply ignore everything following T2. Good call. Number 8, The Dark Tower. If the past decade proved anything, it's that the works of Stephen King are still ripe for Hollywood. Since the Dark Tower series is largely seen as his crowning achievement, it seemed a good idea to bring the gunslinger and Man in Black to the silver screen.
I'm Jake. Jake Chambers. I dreamt about you.
Rather than focusing on the page-turning rivalry between those two, however, the film saw little Jake Chambers take center stage.
Darkness and fire.
The results thus felt less like The Dark Tower and more like a last-ditch effort to cash in on the dwindling young adult movie craze.
He saved my life. He doesn't even like me that much. He's still a gunslinger.
The film wasn't even a direct adaptation of King's books, instead delivering a bland continuation that confused newcomers, enraged fans, and completely missed the point of its source material. Number 7, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. The first Fantastic Beasts was a promising start to a new chapter in the wizarding world. Alas, The Crimes of Grindelwald sucked out much of the wonder and whimsy that made people fall in love with J.K. Rowling's original creation.
Are you a ghost?
No. I'm alive. But I'm an alchemist and therefore immortal.
You don't look a day over 375.
Rowling's screenplay needlessly shoehorned in characters from the books without doing anything interesting with them. This took away from screen time that could have been used to develop Newt, Tina, and other principal characters. The story somehow managed to be both convoluted and uneventful, making The Crimes of Grindelwald feel like a minor stepping stone in a franchise that fans aren't even sure they want anymore.
Horus, join me in this circle. Pledge to me your eternal allegiance, or die.
Plus, there were barely any Fantastic Beasts this time around. Number 6, Zoolander II. This long-awaited sequel immediately got off on the wrong foot, revealing that Derek's wife is dead, his son got taken away, and his Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good has been destroyed.
Effective immediately, I will retire from modeling and live alone as a hermit crab.
Because that's what we wanted to see happen to Derek after 15 years. But hey, the plot doesn't really matter in a Zoolander movie. Zoolander 2's biggest crime is that it's virtually devoid of anything resembling comedy.
Valentina Valencia, Interpol, Global Fashion Division.
Fashion police, we're clean, lady. Go harass somebody else.
Besides, I'm out of fashion.
Whereas the first film was stupid yet clever, this follow-up wound up being just plain dumb and even lazy.
How's the family reunion going?
Great. I'd like to check him out for a few hours if that's okay.
Not only were the celebrity cameos totally wasted, but a majority of the gags were recycled. Didn't anyone working on the film notice this?
Bust it out!
Yes, I knew it!
It feels like we're taking crazy pills. Number 5, The Mummy. While not many people were pleading with Universal to develop a dark universe, the idea of seeing all the classic monsters join forces definitely showed promise.
This is not a tomb. It's a prison.
In what's gotta be a record, The Mummy killed this cinematic universe right out of the sarcophagus. Actually, this wasn't even Universal's first attempt at a shared universe of monsters, as Dracula Untold was originally seen as a potential launching point. The fact that Universal dropped the ball twice made The Mummy all the more infuriating.
You have been selected as the vessel for the ultimate evil, and we are the only ones who can rectify that.
The movie started world building without even deciding what it wanted to be. Combining elements of the Avengers, Mission Impossible, and the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, Universal turned in a muddled mess that tried pleasing everybody, but satisfied nobody. Number 4, Green Lantern. Deadpool is not the only one who would love to expunge this movie from Ryan Reynolds' resume. For decades, Green Lantern was one of the most beloved and respected heroes in the DC pantheon.
Hey! My face is just getting warmed up.
After this lackluster adaptation landed, though, Green Lantern started to become the butt of the joke, and it's gonna take an incredible reboot to restore his former glory.
What are we saying on Earth? We say, I'm only human. We say it because we're vulnerable. We say it because we know we're afraid.
Until then, we're stuck with an uninspired origin story that falls back on every overused superhero trope and packs in so much CGI that it could be mistaken for a cartoon. We're just glad that Reynolds went on to make much better superhero movies. And so did his co-star, Taika Waititi. Yeah, you forgot he was in this too, didn't you? Number 3, The Last Airbender. On one hand, anybody who was looking forward to The Last Airbender should have known that they were setting themselves up for disappointment. As wonderful as the animated series is, you cannot condense an entire season's worth of storylines into a feature film and expect the same results.
I have lived in poverty because of your absence, Avatar, so you will understand my actions today.
On the other hand, it was a live-action version of Avatar. At the bare minimum, this adaptation should have offered some inventive action sequences, inspired casting choices, and fun recreations of beloved scenes. With M. Night Shyamalan helming the project, however, the action was sluggish, the casting was mystifying, and the best moments from the show were robbed of their humanity.
Commander Zhao, there are certain things humankind should not tamper with.
Whatever the in-development live-action Netflix series has in store for us, at least nothing will ever be worse than this. Number 2, the Hobbit franchise. Given the success of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, it was only a matter of time until The Hobbit hit theaters.
Excuse me, that is a doily, not a dishcloth. But it's full of holes. It's supposed to look like that, it's crochet.
Fans were given cause for concern when news broke that this relatively short children's book was being turned into a 2-movie epic, which inevitably became a 3-movie epic. Although the Hobbit trilogy had a theatrical runtime of almost 8 hours, we didn't get to know anybody very well.
We came to you once, starving, homeless, seeking your help. You turned your back.
The dwarves were mostly glorified extras, the new characters contributed little, and even Bilbo got lost in the shuffle. If you edited the trilogy's best bits into a single film, we'd have a worthy successor to Lord of the Rings. As is, though, getting through this drawn-out journey could feel like a chore.
You have nothing left.
Okay, I bet you cannot name one character other than Bilbo or Gandalf from the Hobbit movies. Try. I certainly cannot. Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Hey, please tell me this isn't some kind of a Trojan horse.
I don't think it's a danger to us, but it must be to them.
He turned it on just by touching it.
I activated myself when I detected your biological signature to be different from theirs.
It speaks.
I was designed to find dreamers. I found you. And lost you. Till I found her.
People are dying down there every day. So you're just gonna kill us? If you're asking me if I'm willing to kill 3 people to save 8 billion, wouldn't you?
Predators just don't sit around making hats out of rib cages. They conquered space. But that's not what's on the horizon.
Should I be worried?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
You could argue that Suicide Squad was the lesser film, but DCEU's avalanche of disappointment started with this train wreck. How do you screw up a live-action movie that finally unites Batman and Superman on the big screen? For that matter, how do you botch a movie that borrows from The Dark Knight Returns and The Death of Superman?
Boy, do we have problems up here!
Well, you remove all the color, cram in a dozen other DC characters, cast Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and hire the guy who directed Sucker Punch to tie it all together. That's how.
I've killed things from other worlds before.
She with you? I thought she was with you.
Batman vs. Superman was such a colossal letdown that our hopes for Justice League were crushed. And we're just gonna say it, the Snyder Cut would not have magically fixed everything.
We can do better. We will.
For me personally, there's nothing worse in this world than Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. But what do you guys think? Did we get it right? Let us know in the comments or tweet me at Phoebe_WM. And check out this video.